I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need, sales, inventory, accounting, on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever. Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
You know what it is. That's right. It's time to talk money with your money nerd and financial coach. Now, tighten those purse strings and open those ears. It's the Money Talk with Tiff podcast.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Tiffany's Take right here on the podcast. If you are interested in getting your question answered on the podcast, go to www.moneytalkwitht.com/ask Tiffany, and I'll be more than happy to answer for you. So today I want to challenge the way you look at your bank account. And I know you're probably like, oh gosh, here she go again. But this is just so important. I want to dive into the fundamental shift from a scarcity mindset to a stewardship mindset. And like I said in the reintroductory episode that I released last week, stewardship is my word of the year. So you will hear that a lot. You know, most people think that they have a money problem. You know, when people reach out to me, they're like, oh, Tiffany, I wasn't taught about money growing up. I, can't make ends meet, or if I'm making ends meet, oh, it's just so many bills. It's this, it's that, it's this. They think that if I just had $1,000 more, just $1,000 more, I'd be fine. But I'm here to tell you today that that is a scarcity mindset, focusing on what you don't have. So stewardship is different than that. Stewardship says, I have been entrusted with a certain amount of time, talent, and treasure. How well am I managing what is currently in my hands? So we're not thinking about what we don't have. We're thinking about what do I currently have and what can I use to make progress and forward myself. So if you can't manage $100 well, chances are you won't manage $10,000 well. It's about being a good manager of your soul and your substance. One thing that I've been leaning heavily into is Bible study. So every single morning I do a Bible study. And one story that always sticks out to me is the story about the talents. Now, when I say talents, I'm not talking about what you're skilled at. In the Bible is a story. The talents are treasure. The talents are, let's say, money, right? From back in the day. And the owner gives 3 people a different, certain amounts of talents. And one person takes we'll just replace talents with money. They take their money, they invest it, they make double. Another person takes their money, they do something, they make more. And then the last person, they took their money and they just hid it underground. And so when the owner came back and was like, okay, what have y'all done with the money? Everybody that made more money, he was like, okay, here, you have more. But the one guy that was like, well, I just buried it so that way I could save it for you for when you come back, instead of making it work for him. Then the manager was like, oh, no. That is not what I wanted you to do. You take the money that I gave you and you give it to the other one that made more with it, because you can't manage this right? So anyway, I say all of that to say you have to be able to manage what you have well and show that you are a good steward of your money. So how do you actually make this shift? Number 1, the audit. Stop looking at what's missing. What do you have right now? Do you have a skill that you can utilize? Do you have an extra $20? Do you have an hour of quiet time? I don't want you looking at what you don't have compared to what you think you're supposed to have. I want you to look at what do I have right now and how can I utilize that to the best of my abilities. So if you have a skill that you're good at, people always come to you for, are you utilizing that skill to shift out of the scarcity mindset? Are you using that extra $20 that you may have somewhere to transfer out of the scarcity mindset? Do you have an hour of just quiet time just to sit with your thoughts and figure out, where do I go next? Those are things that I want you to think about as you're doing this audit. Don't look at what's missing. Look at what you currently have.
You know that thing where you get an amazing pair of shoes at a really great price and want to tell everyone about it? Yeah, so do we. Here at Designer Shoe Warehouse, we'll give you something to brag about, like the latest styles from brands you love, or the trends everyone's obsessing over, or shoes that make you feel like, well, you. So go ahead, show off a little. Find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. Head to your DSW store or DSW.com today. DSW. Let us surprise you.
Number 2, assign a job. Every dollar needs a mission and every hour needs a purpose. I can tell you, when I got real intentional about what every dollar does and what every hour of my time does, things started moving a lot differently for me. So make sure that every resource that you have has a job. Now, if you're a business owner listening too, make sure that the resources you have as far as human capital is concerned has a job as well. I had to let go of my team during that time where I was going through the storm and stuff, because I'm like, I'm not making any money. I'm not creating anything. There's really nothing for anybody to do. So I had to lay off my entire team. But I just started hiring back everybody. And when I did that, I'm looking at it completely different. Everybody has a purpose and everybody has a job. Everybody has an assignment that they are responsible for. Kind of like the owner. So I believe in God. I believe God is the owner and we're just the managers. But in your business, you're the owner, and then your human resources are the managers. So with that being said, also make sure that you trust your managers enough to do the job that you hired them for. That's one thing that I've noticed that business owners struggle with. They feel like they have to micromanage, or they feel like, well, if I don't do it, it's not going to get done. And if you have a solid manager, a solid team, that is definitely not the case. I am very hands off with a lot of stuff and it's fine. Things get done exactly how they're supposed to get done. So anyway, every dollar needs a mission. Every hour needs a purpose. And if you're a business owner, every person has to have something to manage. Number 3, the release rule. So to be a good steward, you have to cut what isn't serving the mission. I recently cut my overhead, my personal overhead, by 96%. How? Because I changed my cell phone provider. So here in Jamaica, I was using AT&T for my US line, which means I was spending over $200 a month just for my cell phone. I moved over to Tello a couple of weeks ago, talked about it on social media, but I moved over to Tello and it has been great. I have had no issues and I pay a lot less. I think I'm paying about $20-something a month instead of $200-something a month. Why? Because those expenses weren't helping me serve you. They weren't helping me serve my household, serve myself. They were just noise, just static. So I had 96% static when it came to my phone bill. So I want you to look at what's the noise in your budget? What's the noise in your life? What's the noise in your business? What are things that you can release right now today that you don't have to hold on to? You know, I was thinking, I need to keep my AT&T because, I have my number and I like the service. The service does really well here in Jamaica. But guess what? They weren't the only option. I had to do that research myself and say, okay, there are other people living here and not everybody's paying this. What else are they using that I could potentially use? And I narrowed it down to like 3 companies or so and ended up going with Tello, which, by the way, if you're interested in checking out Tello, you can go to moneytalkwitht.com/Tello. And that is my affiliate link for them now. But, it's been great service so far. So check out what the noise is in your budget and try to cut it out. So if you're ready to move from never enough to intentional management, I've put together something for you. I've repackaged my best tools into the From Scarcity to Stewardship toolkit. It's $27, so it doesn't cost a lot, and it's designed to get your foundation solid. You can find it at moneytalkwitht.com/start, and let's start managing what we have so we can grow into what we want. This is such an important mindset shift that you have to go undertake, because once I got rid of thinking that I had to own it all and I'm just managing it all, it definitely relieved me and I'm able to do more. Like I said, it talks about in the Bible, if you're able to steward well, you'll be blessed with more. And it's so true in real life. So anyway, I just wanted to leave you with that. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye.
Thank you for listening, joining, and being a part of the Money Talk with Tiff podcast this week. You can check Tiff out every Thursday for a new Money Talk podcast. But if you just can't wait until next week, you can listen to previous podcast episodes at moneytalkwitht.com or follow Tiff on all social media platforms at Money Talk with T. Until next time, spend wise by spending less than you make. A word to the money wise is always sufficient.
I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need, sales, inventory, accounting, on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever. Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.